Cruz, who is the leader of No, formerly known as Dr. No. What happened there? Can you talk about it?
Of course I can talk about it. I can talk about anything I want.
Yeah.
Dr. No, as a band, started in 1981, and the bass player in No, as we're called temporarily, started the band. As long as he's in the band and I'm in the band, because I was the fourth singer, actually.
Right.
I was the first one to record and play shows outside of Ventura with those guys. As long as he and I are together. But we have Larry White, who is a drummer from one era of Dr. No, and we have Fred Mataquin, who's a guitar player and songwriter and the lead guitarist from another era of Dr. No. I was never in the band when Fred was or when Larry was, but Ismail was with both of them.
Okay.
So we have more members that were in Dr. No now that were called No, but we decided to change the name because Keith Morris overheard me talking about it in Montreal at a festival, and he just leaned back and said, "Why don't you call it No, like flag?" And I thought that was funny. And I also thought it was a good thing to do because Kyle, who started the band and picked up the name Dr. No after we dropped it from, we started in 98, playing again.
Yes.
And we played up until 2012. And we just kind of all, I think we were in some really cold, freezing floor of a dining room somewhere sleeping at some 15-year-old kid's house whose parents weren't home. And Ismail turned and looked at me and he goes, 31 years of $100 gigs is just not worth it. So we quit doing what we were doing. The same day I announced that we quit, which happened to be Kyle's birthday, oddly enough, he announced he was doing it again. But there's been nothing from that band or any of those people in 2 years.
Yeah.
They don't have a drummer.
Okay.
They've gone through numerous people, which is typical for a band. I can't fault them for that. And they keep saying they're going to put an album out. And we all feel there's been enough time.
Yeah.
So John Creer from Stalag 13 a couple nights ago started saying, Dr. No's up next. And so at Rebellion, they project your name onto the wall. You don't have to bring a banner. And I gave the guy a little JPEG that said Dr. No on it. So we, I guess, now are Dr. No again.
Back to being Dr. No, which is, it was so confusing when people kept saying No, and they're like, No, who's No? Oh, I remember Dr. No. And I'm like, yes, it's the same.
Well, in order to alleviate some of that questioning, we kept the same font.
Yes.
The name Dr. No is just a respelling of Dr. No, N-O, from Ian Fleming and James Bond.
Exactly.
As well as the guitar player for Bad Brains. And when we finally met him, because we'd been asked a lot, and he had been asked a lot about us, we realized that it happened simultaneously 3,000 miles away at around the same time, just for reasons that happened.
Nothing behind it.
Nothing behind it. Dr. No is Dr. No in Bad Brains, and Dr. No the band is Dr. No the band in California, and nothing was ever discussed between any of us. We've played together, and that's kind of funny because we give Dr. No a Dr. No t-shirt. I haven't sent him a No shirt, but I should.
Yes, definitely.
Because he was sick, and it's just nice to give him stuff. I love him. He's a great guy, but we've never done anything legally. I think the one thing Kyla and I may have in common is that we don't really want lawyers to make any money.
Yeah.
Not that there's any money in Dr. No or punk rock unless you're, one of the 10 big ones, and we're not at all. This is for fun, mainly for free, and sometimes out of pocket because it's just what we do.
But it gives you a European holiday where you get to go and play music at the same time.
Yeah, I tell my family it's work because there's long hours and you have to do so many. it'd be hard to have them around, and it's work, and going out on a boat in Croatia, and diving off 40-foot cliffs, and swimming in beautiful water and swimming up to lighthouses was hard work.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
And going to the Dali Museum in Berlin, and just all this amazing stuff that we get to do, because we've decided years and years and years ago to do this, this kind of music. Like Dave Dictor's a very, very close dear friend of mine, and we talk a lot, and I read a lot of what he writes, and I add to it, and he adds to what I write, and we have private talks about stuff, and we both are of the same mind that when you surround yourself by creative people who collectively have a common goal, which is being better people through our type of music. There are people that don't use this type of music for good. There are people who definitely don't think that this is something that's, it's not a peaceful music. We're really upset about a number of things. We spend, a minute and a half on subjects that should take hours and hours and hours to speak about. But hopefully we're getting people to think, and that'll start a dialogue. But the fact that Dave's band, my band, all these bands that travel around on shoestring, no budgets, but are welcomed in especially in Europe, with band flats and hot vegan food and all the water you can handle, and more beer than you've ever seen, and for an alcoholic and drug addict like me, it's really dangerous. But I've been sober almost 21 years, so I'm not real tempted by the booze or
you keep
anything.
the strength inside and just say, okay, that's for somebody else.
Water is really the best thing I can do for myself, to perform on stage. I don't know. I don't look at other bands. I don't judge how one guy moves or one guy doesn't move. Although I know Pete Stahl is a guy that I just fucking love, because Pete's Pete, and he's amazing on stage. Pete is a front man. Pete is a performer. A lot of punks are, they scream and yell and they do punk rock. Pete sings music, and it's punk rock. It's amazing. Pete's a different guy.
But you're along those lines as well. You don't just stand there with the mic and just say the words.
well, thanks. I can't really. This the music makes me move. And I have the pleasure and the honor of being on the stage with three people that play stuff that I really like. I wouldn't still be doing songs that Fred wrote, or I wrote, or Ismail wrote, or that Kyle, even, who's not in the band, wrote 36 years ago, if I didn't still like them. It's I wouldn't say sad, it's just unfortunate Kyle can't be a part of this. We know his music is good. We know his songs are amazing. His lyrics were, my God, in the early 80s he had a song about AIDS. That
didn't talk about it then.
Nobody knew about it. I probably learned about it from Kyle. His vocabulary is, Mensa level. He's a very, very bright, smart, funny guy. On the other hand, he's got some really fucked up, weird ideas that we just don't see eye to eye with. And I don't know that it will ever happen, us being back together as Dr. No, as much as we can originally put it together. You can never say never.
Never say never,
well, my latest "You Never Know" tattoo.
Oh, that's
because you never know. So I'm never going to say no, Kyle will never be a part of this band again. I just think it will take a lot. I'm hopeful that it would be possible. It would be a lot of fun, and that's why I do this. I am not certain that fun is in some other people's
necessarily up for it.
No, we're not. We're not, nor will we ever be Metallica.
Thank goodness for that.
Which is what other people that have been involved in this band want to be. I've named enough names. We're a punk rock band. We'll always be a punk rock band. The metal part, we have. They used to call us metal tinged. We have a tinge of metal. I can't fucking sing. I can't do metal. If you want to hear a good metal band now, Night Demon.
Yes, they are fantastic.
Oh my God.
They are.
And they're from Oxnard.
Are they really? So they're locals.
Montalvo, which is Oxnard adjacent. So we called them Moncore because they're from Montalvo. But Jeff and those guys we played with them in Frankfurt, and they blew us away. Just musically, they're so good. If there's ever going to be another Motorhead, it's Night Demon. Yeah. They have that, whatever it is, whatever Lemmy had. I think when Lemmy died, Jeff got something from him, and I don't know that he ever knew him, but he got it.
He got it.
But he got it,
and he channels it, and
he does, and he does his own thing, and if you like them and early Scorpions, they're the band. Yeah. I really think Night Demon is amazing. Scream, who I said earlier, blew me away at Rebellion.
They blew me away here
and I would have loved to have seen them here. MDC always bring it. FU's amazing. Antisocial kicked ass tonight. Oh, yeah. They're really fun. Crude SS. Wow. We were walking up and they were checking in, and they looked at the lineup of names and they were like, "God damn it!" And somebody said they were from a different country.
Yes, they are not from Finland.
And they crossed it out and they wrote the correct country. And we were going to cross that out and write Holland, just to
keep them going.
If you can't have a sense of humor.
Yes.